I'm not going to go through the whole sutta, but just to read to you some part of it. The background is that the Buddha was at this place called Kesaputta, and there was this clan of people called the Kalama. Yeah? And so the interesting thing is that if you look at the start of the sutta, they basically heard that there's this ascetic Gautama who have arrived in town. And there's this report that goes by about him that says that, hey, this ascetic Gautama, he is knowledgeable, he is wise, he's enlightened, he is the knower of the world, and so on and so forth. He's teacher of gods and men. Yeah. So the recitation, yeah, in the Theravadan tradition, when we recite the Buddha Vandana, Iti Piso Bhagava Araham, yeah, Bhante, yeah. So those verses, yeah, if you can follow this part here, a good report about that Master Gautama has been circulating thus: that Blessed One is an Arahant, perfectly enlightened one, accomplished in true knowledge and conduct, fortunate, knower of the world, unsurpassed, leader of persons to be tamed, teacher of devas and humans. Devas is basically gods. The enlightened one, the blessed one, yeah, having realized with his own direct knowledge this world with its devas, Mara and Brahma, this population with its ascetics and Brahmins, with its devas and humans, he makes it known to others. He teaches a Dharma that is good in the beginning, good in the middle, and good in the end. With the right meaning and expression, he reveals a spiritual life that is perfectly complete and purified. Now, it is good to see such arhants. Yeah. So, in the Buddha's time, when he go from town to town, city to city, what really happens is not like now, like now, if let's say some renowned teacher comes, wow, there'll be poster, there'll be Facebook, yeah, Twitter, yeah, and then there'll be a big fanfare in the airport, and then wow, everybody will flock there and listen. In the Buddha's time, somewhat similar but quite different. Yeah, all they have is a report saying that the Buddha, yeah, quite a good teacher, yeah, supposed to have accomplished something, but they don't simply assume it's so. But based on that report, they may say, hey, let's go and check him out. Yeah. And that's basically what you have said in modern terms, let's check him out. Yeah. And so they went to see him, and they asked him and told him that there are so many different views that is being purported by the different teachers. And all of them say that they are correct and the rest is wrong. Yeah. What do you have to say? Yeah. What does Buddha have to say? And so the Buddha addressed them saying, it is fitting for you to be perplexed, O Kalamas. It is fitting for you to be in doubt. Doubt has arisen in you about a perplexing matter. Come, Kalamas. And this is in address to the question, or rather the support, because we have been brought up this way. And it's very common and normal. And dare I say so, because most of us are not first generation Buddhists. Most of us are accepting Buddhist teaching, mostly because my mother says so. And if you ask your mother, the mother say, don't ask so much. Yeah. Most of our mothers would not be explaining, they'll be saying, don't ask so much. Cannot ask. Yeah? Chinese tradition, not Buddhist tradition. Buddhist tradition advises, encourages us to ask. So the Buddha said, do not go by oral tradition, by lineage of teaching, by hearsay. Yeah? Which is exactly not so much about you, but about how most of us receive our ideas by custom, yeah? By word of mouth, passed down from our parents, our grandparents, and so on. The Buddha says this is not a good enough source or basis to say it is true or not true, to say whether this is fruitful for us or not fruitful for us. That you shouldn't just rely on someone saying, then okay, you know. What else? By a collection of texts. Because this text says so. Notice that right at the start I said, oh, this is from the Nikayas. Yeah? So unwittingly, we have a bit of that already. Because it's from the Nikayas, so it must be true. Oh, Chala, even Nikayas, we have to question. But actually, in some ways, the Buddha do you know, as we go through, he don't encourage us just to say, because the Buddha says so, so it must be correct. And in fact, this morning, we had this discussion, yeah, about faith, yeah, faith and the Buddha's teaching. We don't simply say, because the Buddha says so, so it must be right. Yeah? Although there are certain things we cannot prove yet, we say, okay, I'll take his word for now, but I'm going to try to verify it. And that is the difference. Yeah, that's the difference. So, not to go by a collection of texts by logic, not even by logic, you know. Yeah. Around the same time as the Buddha, somewhere further up north, in ancient Greece, yeah, thinkers like Plato and later on Aristotle and so on, they came to a point where they value logic and reasoning so strongly that they say, if, for example, Bhante, today we come up with some compelling argument and say that the sun don't rise from the west, don't rise from the east. Okay? In ancient Greece, if you come up with a statement that has compelling logic and reason, that prove that the sun actually don't rise from the east, and someone can tell you, well, the sun just rose from the east. Then you know what they did? They say, well, the sun is wrong. At some point in ancient Greece, their reasoning and logic reached this point. Until someone came along and said, hey, wait a minute, but the sun is rising from the east. If that is the case, then your logic is wrong. And that is the cornerstone, yeah? That is the cornerstone of modern scientific approach, where you come up with a hypothesis, and then you measure it against empirical evidence. And if empirical evidence is different from your hypothesis, empirical evidence will always supersede your, pay attention, pay attention, very crucial part. All of you, I know in your mind, that if empirical evidence is different from your hypothesis, then empirical evidence will always supersede. And you must go and re-examine your hypothesis. Retweak it, re-examine it, change it to fit the observed phenomena. Of course, you don't do it one observation. Yeah. Interestingly, that's what the Buddha did way before the Western world came out of this full process. The Buddha don't simply go around telling us, oh, this is how it is. But he asked the question, is form, is rupa permanent or impermanent? Is it permanent or impermanent? Ask you to go and examine for yourself. Ask you to go and see for yourself. AE Pasigo. So let's just go through this. By inferential reasoning, another form of logic, to infer. If you see smoke, there should be fire. But today we know there's smoke machine. So just because you see smoke doesn't mean there's fire. By reason cogitation, a lot of deep thinking, reflection. By the acceptance of a view after pondering it, or after thinking, then because you have thought of it, then it should be correct. By the seeming competence of a speaker, wow, Sifu, speak very well, very compelling, or maybe got more power. I'm not amor, but let's say there's an amor, or maybe tengdang use tengdang, then wow, must be very, not simply because the speaker can speak well. But if you think about it, even today, this happens, isn't it? when you hear a speaker who...
The personal charisma of the speech.
Yeah, the charisma of the speaker.
Convincing speech.
Convincing speech. Yeah, like how it is now. Or because you think that ascetic is our teacher.
Right.
Yeah. Or because Sifu said so. No. Yeah. Whether it's Sifu or the Buddha or Bante or Sale, anyone, don't simply accept it because of that.